Oh, here we go again with Hybe giving us generic, uninteresting, unfinished, short, heavily auto-tuned and poor mixed songs. Wow, who's shocked? Nobody. But what kinda unemployed SoundCloud rapper type trap beat is this? This comeback sserafim tried a more calm, R&B, quote vibey approach, which in theory would have worked for me as a R&B enjoyer, but this entire EP sounded like background noise at best. A 5-track album, not even hitting the 14-minute mark is insane, and they do absolutely nothing to grab my attention in that painfully short time, and you know who I blame? SSERAMID is a group who gets a lot of hype for their intros. Me personally, I've never been the biggest fan. Although across the board they're catchy tracks, they aren't really a standout to me within their album, since to me it's just mostly talking over a nice instrumental, but this has got to be their worst intro to date. Real ones no Hybe are quite the trend hoppers, so seeing the snippet of Good Bones before the official release and hearing the blatant Olivia influence wasn't a shocker, but I kinda got excited as a Olivia Rodrigo defender, someone who loves the 2000s pop-punk sound she has brought back to the industry, specifically the K-pop industry. I was really intrigued what the full song would sound like. But of course with the full song now out it's really nothing special. In fact, I actually didn't like this song whatsoever. This cheap watered-down corny imitation of Olivia was very distasteful to say the least. I guess I was hoping they would go a different route with this intro, and it would actually be more like a song with more singing, and maybe even some more yelling to a point where it reaches a climax similar to All American Bitch. But why would I tell myself that? I automatically just set them up for failure. The transition from punk to trap was funny, but let's not talk about cohesion and more about the actual music. It's just, okay. There are so many pros and cons I have about this song, it all just averages out, plus a point for being at least somewhat catchy. It's not exactly the ideal title track for them, as it is not surprising, nor is there anything impactful or memorable after this song ends and it's like, that's it. I know the lyrics can be meaningful to most, but overall I wasn't moved. Not to say they were bad, but it's something that didn't catch my eye. And don't come here being like, oh, SSERAMID is trying to be versatile, or not all title tracks have to be super upbeat. And you are right. I can name plenty of R&B songs that just work great. One great example literally being one of their own songs. The difference between Easy and Impurities is SSERAMID adds nothing in Easy's short runtime. No fresh, thrilling, enthusiastic vocal attempts from eunchae or Chaiwon weakens the song even more, and the poorly auto-tuned rap from Kazuha and Sakura were not enjoyable at all. This just feels like an unnecessary track, a filler in their discography. I feel pretty much the same with Swan Song as I do with Easy, although I think it does the laid-back lo-fi vibe a bit better here, and their voices sound much prettier and more enjoyable. But it's super repetitive, and the entire song is just the chorus and maybe one verse, which for me means this is definitely gonna age very quickly. But it doesn't matter, seeing I will never go back to this since it really has no substance to keep me entertained. I feel like here I'm also hearing another popular Western influence, cough, cough, Kill Bill by SZA, cough. Smart is in Latin, Afrobeat type summer song that I've definitely heard before, that is paired with not so good vocals in my opinion. Unlike Swan Song, their voices really lower the quality of this song, but not by much. But still their worst song in terms of vocal performance on this EP. The overall sound is very generic as well for this genre, and nothing ever happens. Like I literally just blacked out for 2 minutes and 47 seconds. Forgettable. 100% the most interesting song off of this snooze fest, with deep bass on the track that brings an energetic vibe, but still and yet falls flat, as it is another song that is too repetitive for me, and it also feels undeveloped. Like Hybe really could have done so much more to make this a great redeemable closing song, but they don't care, they just want the bag, which is why this feels so hollow and unlively. I also think if they were vocally stronger, I'm sure they could have pulled this off much more regardless of the structure, but where they stand now it's just decent. I just feel like this is a super average release even for them, although the only SSERAMID album I actually like is their debut album Fearless. I fear their B-sides might have peaked there, and I really don't see them redeeming themselves anytime soon, RIP. Even though they have been known for their hard-hitting and strong comebacks 2 years after debut, they have really yet to have a defining sound to stiffen their musical identity, and although you can say this makes them more diverse, in my eyes it's just endless trend hopping while being very safe and bland and not quote pushing the boundaries they claim to do. This EP sounds like a mix of what's popular right now, and I swear all these songs already exist. And I wouldn't really call myself a SSERAMID fan. It's still disappointing to me because I genuinely want these girls to be one of the K-pop groups for me. A group you always look forward to regardless of your fan status. Also, the visuals for this album is nothing like I thought it was gonna sound. You're telling me you look at these photos and not expect some quirky fun pop music? Like the vision board is very confusing and all over the place, and it makes me think that not just HYBE but K-pop labels have like no sense of creativity and they just throw shit together, and they really milked their producers dry. Not a single drop of creativity left with boring questionable production choices. K-pop is never gonna K-pop again, huh? A quick point I'd also like to bring up, since it's quite the controversy, is the music video, and eunchae. I don't understand companies, especially big ones, who continue to disrespect religion without having any critical thought. The countless of groups who have tried religion as an aesthetic and have gotten so much pushback from it, you'd think an educated companies like HYBE would know better. You couldn't dance anywhere else? Would it have killed to go anywhere else? Genuinely, a church of all places is crazy. And what I care about the most is the company continuing to sexualize eunchae. Just because you put her in the back doesn't make it less wrong. It's still very wrong and inappropriate, and source music is really getting on my last nerve. And she wasn't even in the back, they put her in the dead center. Are none of y'all uncomfortable? Like, this is nasty. They are shaking ass. Shaking ass. Please be serious if you are defending this. She is a minor, and they are clearly shaking ass. I don't care if she's covered up or quote doing a different step, which okay, continue to be disgusting, delusional, gross fucks. It's clear this is meant to be a very mature dance. They knew they wanted a mature concept for the group probably years before debut, which is okay, I guess, but you couldn't find 5 20-year-olds? Eunchae was really y'all's only option? I just hate how the exploitation of minors is becoming so normalized among the audience. Imagine my shock when I saw people defending this like, are you serious right now? This should not be normal, I repeat, this should not be normal. Not only are the companies doing it, but y'all are letting them get away with it, and that doesn't sit right with me. You are all disgusting.